once in a while, there's an extra terrible New York Times opinion piece. Usually they're always pretty bad.
Yeah. Consistently
bad.
Yeah.
But the one who sort of always has the worst takes, and especially after a week like this with some Democratic losses, the Build Back Better Act being sort of punted while the infrastructure bill was voted up.
Yep.
And that the author is always Maureen Dowd, who is a columnist who's been there for, I don't know, half her life, forever.
Ever since I was a child, I feel like I've heard the name Maureen Dowd for my whole life.
She's been there forever, and she's a consistently like esoteric elitist writer who has just like the worst metaphors and sort of always like flexing that she has like an English degree or whatever the hell. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And not to mention her politics are trash and she has the worst opinions. And so this week she had this headline: Wokeness Derails the Democrats.
Fun.
So here you have a supposedly liberal publication, just kind of doubling down on what all Republicans think, which is wokeness, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Being politically correct, using someone's proper gender pronouns,
right.
Not wanting to be shot by the police,
right? Not wanting the environment to go up in flames, and people to be displaced.
Yeah. So that's all wokeness, and it's really derailing the Dems because they were doing so well. I don't know if you knew this.
Oh, great,
crushing it before that, and so she goes through this whole article, and you're like, oh my God. And the title is a little bit more incendiary than the actual piece, of course. But she basically says that James Carville, who we all know,
genius, everyone loves him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just Louisiana Skeletor.
Exactly. Louisiana elitist Skeletor.
I'm just here to talk about how I one time got Bill Clinton elected and pretty much ruined liberal democracies. I mean, here's my thing.
I'm trying to get back to Clinton, and I will be wearing my college sweatshirt in every single interview. And yes, I make $5,000 an appearance.
Oh, them progressives, they like a crawdad caught in a bird trap. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I wish he said that, dude. So she says, there's some truth in what James Carville told Judy Woodruff, quote, what went wrong is this stupid. Okay, Matt, do it.
Okay. What went wrong was this stupid wokeness. Don't just look at Virginia and New Jersey. Look at Long Island. Look at Buffalo. Look at Minneapolis. Even look at Seattle Wash. I mean, this defund the police lunacy. This take that Abraham Lincoln's name. This take Abraham Lincoln's name off the schools. This take Abraham Lincoln's name off the schools.
Yeah, like the idea that we would. Which, by the way, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard. I've
not heard of anyone trying to take Abraham Lincoln's name off of a school.
What the fuck?
I swear they just make up new ones. Like, what would piss me off?
They're canceling the whole Civil War. Like, no, man. The Civil War was about canceling the fucking Confederacy anyway. So she's quoting him. Then she's quoting probably a centrist Republican, a centrist representative in Congress. There we are. Saying there's something truth in what Representative Abigail Spanberger, a moderate Virginia Democrat in a tough re-election battle, told the Times' Jonathan Martin and Alexander Burns about the president. Nobody elected him to be FDR. They elected him to be normal and stop the chaos. And then she continues and says, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi hail the bill. This is obviously about the infrastructure bill as transformational. But what are you transforming into? The election cratering shows that such overweening efforts are putting off many voters who are still struggling just to get by as they move beyond the degradation wrought by Trump and COVID.
Yeah. Trying to help those workers is just wokeness, you know? When trying to do social programs for those workers, that's just wokeness, straight up.
Stop trying to do social programs. Workers are struggling. What the fuck are you talking about? And this pivots and puts Pelosi and Schumer somehow in like too far left. Oh, they're focusing on getting things done. What we need to focus on is telling everyone everything's normal.
Yeah. Everything's cool now. We didn't elect him to be FDR. We elected him to do nothing. Is basically what they're saying.
Absolutely. We elected him to just sort of like, brush our hair and tell us everything's okay.
You're so pretty.
Yeah,
America's pretty now, man.
America's so pretty. Man. We're great. But
Beautiful,
just pay no
man. It's a
attention to what
beautiful
just
place.
happened. No, man, this is like our one shot to prevent actual fascism from coming back.
Mhm.
And look, you can argue whether the calculation was right, in my mind, to do one of two things. Either focus on what happened on January 6th and focus on voting rights and protecting the election. That is an argument to be like, yes, we need to do legislative things, but you should focus on that stuff maybe first.
Mhm.
But Biden is actually trying to move back to normalcy by trying to get stuff done. And he's not really looking backwards and trying to hold Trump accountable. He's trying to deliver and make his own legacy, right?
Right.
So just like, this is par for the course for Dowd, who in another op-ed, and I think I've talked about this on the show before.
This is the worst op-ed of all time.
Talks about how Kyrsten Sinema stars in her own film.
Yeah.
You know, she's not a holdout when it comes to the $15 minimum wage or anything. She's just, quote, like the original Sphinx. The Phoenix Sphinx is blocking the way until those who would move ahead solve her riddle.
God, she's so horny on Maine for moderate Dems. It's insane.
Yeah.
This is the most horny article I have ever seen.
Somehow we've gotten ourselves into a perverse situation where Sinema and Joe Manchin rule the world, and it's confounding that these two people have so much sway. As Hemingway wondered in the snows of Kilimanjaro, what are those leopards doing at this altitude? Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck
Stop.
up.
Please don't. I don't care that you read Hemingway. I don't care. I don't want, if anyone says Kilimanjaro to me, I'm like immediately not listening. But, you know, and she's not wrong in that case, but it's the way that she lays all this out. It's the way that she like, and people, you know, what people do is they'll just read the headline. Sinema stars in her own silent film, which means like, oh wow, Sinema is a boss bitch, you know, she's a girl boss.
Yeah.
And then read the wokeness is derailing the Democrats, like, yes, totally. Pronouns. Anyway, so I'm just railing against how bad these New York Times opinion pieces are. Sometimes there's some of them are getting better, but
it's just so annoying because of the fact that you've got like this, you didn't even have to wait for something to happen to write that article. You know what I mean? That's a take you have lying in wait. How am I going to blame the progressives for something that is ostensibly the fault of the Democratic establishment? I mean, in these elections that they lost, the buck stops there. I'm sorry. The idea that the buck would somehow stop with like some, you know, progressive candidate who's not in office and being like, oh, you know, people, the reason that, you know, the socialists lost in Buffalo is because people just hate AOC. It's like AOC is not like, what the hell are you talking about?
Or it's because people had a defund the police sign. Like the reason that it's the reason that Walton lost in Buffalo is because the fucking Democratic machinery threw down for Byron Brown.
Exactly.
And all the, you know, money that the party had went to him and went to the write-in campaign, which is absurd. Let's talk about a lack of unity.
Right.
Talk about a lack of support for the person who rightfully won the primary. That's sick. That's very, very wrong.
I mean,
it's wrong.
I mean, it just shows you where the Democratic establishment's heart lies. It really has nothing to do. Like a primary process is like, if it can't be rigged, then, well, fuck it. We'll just go over their heads.
100%.
Because it has nothing to do with like party loyalty. If you won the party, then you are the person who represents the party. That's how primaries work.
Right.
And the idea that they would go around that just, you know, it just makes it obvious that really their goal isn't party unity and supporting the party, vote blue no matter what. It's like, oh no, vote moderate, vote center right no matter what. And you know, they just show so little faith in anyone who actually has any ideas or stands for anything. That I mean, the idea that you would in any way blame wokeness for the fact that, you know, the Build Back Better bill is going to end up being completely thrown out is like, you're insane.
How can you haven't been paying attention to anything? This is your job.
And you wrote an article being like, man, Kyrsten Sinema is so hot. Like, fuck you.
Look at her in her blue wig. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.